is D. Back again, man. Want to make a quick video. Um, Spirit kind of dropped a beautiful nugget on me concerning relationships and patience within those relationships. So often we get into them, and then once the relationship is not growing as we think it should, or the sparks aren't flying as they used to, we're ready to quit. But it's a lesson in being patient within a relationship. Even nature has a way of growing and taking time. Very interesting that a fruit tree, most fruit trees that grow, take between 2 and 7 years to truly blossom and bear much fruit. But if that tree wasn't bearing fruit in that first year, and you mad, you're gonna chop it up. You're gonna get rid of it, and you gotta be patient to allow it to come to fruition, allow it to mature, allow it to get into the soil and things of that nature. So I think it's the same thing within our life. We have to be patient, allow maturity, allow different things to line up, even within the relationship. I want to give two scriptures, man, and then that'll be a wrap. We'll go to the book of Hosea 3 and let's see, 3 and 3. And I thought it was very interesting. But God said to the prophet, He said, "Go again, love a woman who loves another man, an adulteress, and love her as Yahweh loves the Israelites, although they turn to other gods and love raisin cakes." Um, and it says, "So I bought her for 15 shekels of silver and a homer of barley and a skin of wine. And I said to her, you have to spend a long time waiting for me without playing the whore and without giving yourself to any man, and I will behave in the same way towards you." I think it's very interesting in that is God was showing patience to Israel, who, as we know through history of the Old Testament, consistently were an adulterous people. But that patience is a lesson I think that we can learn. You hear people talk about the love that Hosea had for his wife, which was a prostitute. That is true, but even within that love, it is a lesson of patience. It's a lesson of second chance. It's a lesson of not throwing it away, even though whatever that is not treating you right. You know, who wants to be married to a prostitute? Who wants to give a prostitute a second chance? Who wants to have babies by a prostitute? But God was showing a lesson of unfailing love. And I think in our day, we lack a true understanding of what unfailing love is. Once the feeling leaves, once we're not emotionally aroused consistently, we want to go. But the Bible talks about love. Love is patient, and it never gives up. I love what Paul said in the book of Corinthians. Corinthians 13 about love. He said, "Love never gives up." And I believe it's something about stick to itness that pleases the heart of God, especially in a day where we're seeing marriages over within 2 years. You haven't even went through nothing, and it's already over. Where we're seeing people dissolve friendships so quickly, people quitting, people are entering covenants, but they're breaking the covenants. That's just not the way that God works. Patience has to run its course, because with patience it teaches many valuable life lessons, but you won't receive those lessons if you don't go through it. And I like to say this word: if you don't grow through it. So that is what it is. And then in the book of Titus, I love how Paul talked about. He said in the book of Titus 2 and 3, he said, talking to the women, said, "In the same way, the older women are to be reverent in behavior, not slanderous, not addicted to too much wine. They are to teach what is good, so that they may encourage the young women to love their husbands, and children to be sensible, pure, good homemakers, and submissive to their husbands, so that God's message will not be slandered." I think it'd be wise for us to start talking about patience and growing, rather than always quitting and leaving and divorcing. I hear that so much. It seems to be some kind of cultural norm now to leave, to quit, to divorce, which is anti-God. As we know in the book of Malachi, God said that He hates divorce. So whenever you experience rough issues or trials or tribulations or some things within your relationship that you don't particularly like, I would say face it with patience. Face it with patience, and of course with prayer. And see if you can grow with that other person. See, and when I say see, meaning bring it up, and don't just bring it up one time. Consistently do it. Consistently um, chop at the bit. And don't give up. Don't give up, man. I said this is kind of funny, but what is some great relationship advice when you, especially concerning those who are married? Simply put, don't get divorced. But nobody wants to hear that because that's opposite of the culture. But we know that the Bible is always opposite of the culture. So I just want to encourage you guys, man, to have patience in whatever that you're doing, whether it's work, whether it's relationships, whether it's going to school, because I personally believe things will get better if you can outlast the initial storms, if you can outlast the tough times that typically come in the beginning. And most people give up before great things come, meaning they give up before they see the fruit of the relationship. You invest 2-3 years in a relationship, and that fruit was going to bear that fourth year, but you've given up. Don't be so quick to give up. That's a lesson that we all can learn as we look at the Word of God, because I believe that pleases God to see people who go into covenantship and they go through the issues, but they say we're going to stay and we're not going to give up. Be blessed, guys, and have a great night.